Are you only selling on one channel? Do you know the risks of being an Amazon-only player? Is it time that you diversified and offered your products on other marketplaces or even your own web store? In today's video, we look at the benefits of having multiple channels, how to choose your next channel, and we get tips on how to build a successful web store. Today on E-Commerce Heroes, I'll be talking to Chad Rubin about diversification. Diversification is where you sell through multiple sales channels, such as Amazon, eBay, and your own web store, as opposed to just selling through one. Chad is the co-founder of inventory management software Skubana and the president of Crucial Vacuum. This month's video sponsor is Inform.co, previously AppEagle, who provide analytics and repricing tools for Amazon sellers. So, Chad, do you see a lot of sellers who just sell through one sales channel? And if you do, what are the risks of doing that?
Yes, great question. I do see a lot of Amazon-only players. I typically see other players that have an outside shopping cart and then also sell on Amazon. So I look at Amazon as a channel. And I come from, like, back in the day, I was on Wall Street, and I would never invest in a stock that had one customer. And if you're a seller and you're investing your entire life savings into one customer, Amazon's customer, it's a massive risk. So there's a lot of players out there, right? Private label players, they come up with a name, they slap a product up on Amazon. But to me, that's really playing the short term. And I like to play long-term games. I've been doing this for a decade. And I like to look at e-commerce like playing Monopoly. You want to be on every piece of the board to win. You want to own that real estate space. Where the eyeballs go, that's where the wallet share goes. And that's where you can actually capture real dollars in e-commerce. And so I'm on 20 different channels right now.
And you mentioned Amazon-only players there, Chad. What are the worst scenarios that you've seen where sellers haven't diversified and have just stuck with selling on Amazon?
Well, look, Amazon can change policies overnight. They can put businesses out of business overnight if you're suspended, if you oversell inventory, if you are doing something perhaps a little bit nefarious with your reviews of what you're trying to accomplish with reviews or product launch. So there's all these things where Amazon, like what you know in Amazon expires every 3 months, sometimes even shorter than that. So the risk is if you just are building a business around Amazon's ecosystem, it's extremely challenging, right? You can't survive. Like, you can survive maybe this year, but if Amazon starts making you pay to play and start doing sponsored ads, the game has now changed, your margins erode, and what now?
And you mentioned there, Chad, that you sell through 20 different channels. And I think that our viewers would be interested to know how your sales through those different channels compares to Amazon.
So Amazon's roughly right now in e-commerce in the United States is 50% market share. And so for every $2 that's spent, $1 of it goes to Amazon, and my business really correlates well with that, bodes well with that stat. So 50% of the revenue is coming from Amazon, and then everywhere else, I would say my next biggest channel is my own website. Third biggest channel would be, say, Walmart. But I still get incremental revenue dollars from all these other channels that I wouldn't naturally have if I wasn't on those channels. And there's no sweat off my back to be on those channels, right? It's just another platform to be on. And then we have a system set up to automate and operate the process.
I think it's interesting what you say there, Chad, about growing off of Amazon, because I think a lot of sellers look at diversification as purely a way to reduce the risk. So what are the benefits of selling on more than one channel?
So the first benefit would be you're diversifying your wealth, right? Or your asset of running your own business. I would say the second big one is if you're looking to perhaps exit your business one day, you'll get a much higher multiple when you are a true brand across many other marketplaces or retailers. And so if you want to get a, say, 3x EBITDA multiple on your business today and you're just on Amazon, I've seen Amazon businesses get 1.5 to 2x.
Wow.
So essentially, if you're diversified, you can get a 7x to your EBITDA.
I mean, the benefits there speak for themselves, really. So if a seller is seeing this, they only sell on Amazon, and they've brought into the idea that they need to start diversifying. What are the first steps that they can take to looking at offering their products on other channels?
So I always say, look, Amazon's a great place to start, but it's not a great place to end. You should just keep going. So once you have a product on Amazon, let's just say your product is sociable. Let's just say you're making, I don't know, MCT oil, right? And an MCT oil right now is big. It's made of 100% coconut oil. Well, maybe that would be a great market for Facebook, right? That's where eyeballs are going. So always evaluate. For me, I look at opportunity where I'm like, okay, where are people spending time? Okay, people shop on Amazon, great. People are spending a ton of time on Facebook. Let's see how we can monetize Facebook traffic and drive that either into a funnel or perhaps driving that into our own shopping cart. So for me, vacuum filters, which is how I started, is not the most sexy product. When you try to escape and go into the elevator and are waiting, sort of trying to waste time, the last thing you want to do is see a vacuum filter. But if you're really into working out, let's just say, and you really want to get MCT oil, that would be a great ad that would populate in your Facebook feed. So it's really picking the right channel because not all channels are equal.
And in terms of going where the eyeballs are there any channels that you've got in your sites that you think could be big?
So right now, we started off as a e-commerce native company. Amazon, I had a Volusion site back in the day. Then we moved to Magento. Now we're on Shopify. But then I have all these other channels. And interestingly, I think a lot of other e-tailers are doing this as well, is they're like, hey, we can do retail better than retail. Traditional retail has been doing retail. So we're actually right now about to lock in a very, very massive opportunity with Home Depot. So we're saturating the online market, right? We're going to keep going deeper on our SKU count. We'll keep going into many different channels as they pop up. But then on top of that, we're going to sort of where others aren't going, where the puck is going, and we're expanding. And one of those places is Home Depot.
And just going back to something that you said right at the start, Chad, I believe you said that your website is your second biggest sales channel. So when in a seller's journey should they start looking at having their own web store?
I don't think that there's any reason to wait. Like, you can do both simultaneously, especially if you have a system set up and you've set up processes. There's no reason why it should be sort of game theory winner or loser. It should be, why not do both? Let's commit to being omnipresent and being everywhere we possibly can be, because that's how we're going to capture the most amount of revenue dollars. The thing is that people get stuck on Amazon because Amazon's a gateway drug. Once you get started, it's super, super hard to ever leave. And people are like, well, the money is so good, life is so great, but then they don't see all the disadvantages. And I think that's short-term, short-sighted thinking.
You mentioned there, why not have a web store? But I think when sellers talk about it, the couple of things that we routinely hear are that it can take a lot of time to build your web store up and you're not guaranteed any footfall. And two, that sellers can burn through a lot of money because unlike Amazon, where they've got that captive audience already there, they have to build an audience for themselves. So what are your tips for building a successful web store?
So that excuse was really good, say maybe 5 years ago, right? Magento, a lot of custom development, but now you have software as a service platforms like Shopify or BigCommerce that are out of the box, right? You can start a basic Shopify plan for $29 a month. You can buy a theme for $150. And then you have to decide on where you want to attract your audience. And that does take time. And it does take thinking. See, Amazon is taking the thinking out of it. They're saying, hey, get your product FBA. You just go to Alibaba, source the cheapest spatula, and you'll be on your way on our platform. And just now you can spend a lot of money and be part of sponsored ads. But the game has really changed dramatically in a big way, where we're in this pay-to-play environment right now on Amazon, and there's other ways of actually monetizing your product off of Amazon. So if you're selling that MCT oil, again, I'm just using that as an example because it's on one of my team's desks here to the right of me, is that you have to think, okay, where are athletes spending their time? Where are people that maybe want to lose weight or do ketosis or in the paleo diet? Where are they spending their time? And let's see how we can monetize on that opportunity. People want a product, and you have to give them that product. And you just have to pair those two pieces together.
Okay, so if we look at diversification as a whole and monetizing that opportunity that exists outside of Amazon, what are your e-commerce heroes' top 3 tips for sellers that are looking to diversify their sales channels?
So the first tip to diversify your sales channel, I think, is to think about the problem that your product solves and go solve that problem where those people spend their time and attention. So if you're making replacement parts for a drone, maybe you want to be advertising on Quora or Reddit because there's these niches. The riches are in the niches. And on Reddit, for example, is a great place where you can find people talking about problems, and you can actually be part of the community advertising in Reddit or Quora. That's just like one example. Or if you're selling something that's great for the paleo or the CrossFit world, right? Maybe you want to start targeting people on Facebook and really creating drilled down surgical level campaigns so you can actually track what's happening, and you don't have to throw a ton of money into it. No one's saying that you have to come out blazing with thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you think about what's happening on Amazon, with Amazon taking 15% of your revenue, then they take their FBA fee, then they take sponsored ads, and sponsored ads ACoS. I'm talking to people and they're like, hey, our cost of the sale is like 60%, 70%. So I'm like thinking to myself, 60, 70% plus 15%, that's a lot of money. So you could be actually getting cheaper traffic elsewhere these days and monetize that. There's opportunities everywhere. It's not just about Amazon anymore. So that would be like my first thing, to make sure you're solving problems, finding those where people are spending their time and giving your product as a solution where people are discussing the problem. I think capitalizing on Facebook is still underdone. I think there's still a lot more opportunity there, and that's something that we're actively looking at. And the third piece, I think that people have to. It's not just about channels; it's about your SKU, how you come out with your SKU. So your SKU that you come out with, are you solving a problem? It always comes back to problems for me, and I look at search volume. I don't want to go create a Me Too product on the market and capitalize on what everyone else is making just so I can get 10, 15% market share from them. And then all the other Chinese competitors come in and now I've lost an opportunity. So I'm trying to create right now, this is our newest focus, is innovative product that solves problems where we create a defensive moat around our product. It's unique, it's innovative, and people need to spend a lot of money and tooling costs to actually make that same product.
Well, Chad, thank you very much for your advice. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. I'd like to say thank you to this month's video sponsor, Inform.co, previously AppEagle, who provide analytics and repricing tools for Amazon sellers. I'd also like to say a big thank you to everyone at home for watching, and we'll see you again for another episode of E-commerce Heroes here at Web Retailer.